Here is another quick 9 playthrough here on the channel for you all. The date and the divisions, of course, shown on screen in the thumbnail. Remember to hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel as well. Timestamps in the description down below, and remember the replays here are from old tournaments, so use the old ball attribute levels, which have now, of course, doubled. Hope you're enjoying Quick 9. Good luck, and remember to tweak according to your clubs and balls and wind angles. Here we go. Almost straight tailwind, so we're going to go with a berserker, stretch out to absolute max with the berserker, and you'll see the bullseye is just between the rough line and the bunker. Then I'm going to add spin, 5.8 top spin, 2 bars side spin to the left. So that reference, of course, stretching out was with APOC 5 plus. Adjustment is max plus 10, power 5 settings, and the push-up is going to vary depending what wind you have. 11.1, so just higher than midway. I'm going to push up here 3 yards, which takes me to plus 5. Lower wind, you will need more push-up. Higher wind, I would leave it where it is for anything above 11.5 miles per hour. If you get low wind with a berserker 9.4, 9.5, I would actually switch to a wind 0 ball if you can. Going with max overpower, slightly slower needle if you have more wind, and of course a bit of curl to the left. And we get to a drive of 443. On the odd occasion, you may not roll out as much as that, so you may need to improvise this second shot. But I've had good success with this one so far, and this is a wind angle we've had before on this hole. Second shot, we're going to do a rough check in line with the pin. And you can see here, plus 8 with the bullseye directly over the rough line with the thorn is going to equal 18% on the sliders. That's RC plus 10% on the notepad, rough check plus 10. Then we add spin, plenty of back spin, a little bit of side spin to the left, and then we want the red ring touching the beginning of the fringe with the bull guide through the hole. Don't worry about that because you're going to adjust to a slightly higher point, which is going to put your landing position nearer the fringe where you get a shorter rollout on the ball. So this has been factored in to the shot. So plus 8 rough check, 18% on the slider, 10% elevation, pull it over the bullseye on this one. And obviously it's 2% per yard difference. If you have a rough check of, for example, plus 6, you are nearer, so you will play 14% slider. Perfect ball there, and it drops very nicely for an eagle. And it's going to be the quarterback here, and we want to make use of the slope to the left and above the pin and get the ball to roll back down for our hole in one. Blue ring touching the bricks is my reference in most wind angles, and in the video here I'm going with 4 backspin and half a bar of side spin to the left. If you have level crosswind, I would suggest you go with a little bit less backspin, probably around 3 to 3.5 bars, depending on wind angle. Finding our position, then we are going to adjust medium distance, 15% elevation. Medium distance, 15% elevation. And the plan here will be to bounce on the main piece of fairway. We hit perfect, of course, bouncing once on the main piece of fairway right now. Then we take a little hop over the island, second bounce on the green, backspin steadies us up, approaches left of pin, and uses that slope to roll back down towards the hole. There's a very, very useful slope there, which we want to really take advantage of. Gives us the best chance for a hole in one. I'm going to show you the layup option, which is definitely better for a more general purpose, and also for different wind angles as well. I like the quarterback or the rock for the drive, and I want to lay up on this piece of fairway on the right hand side, as you can see just on the screen right now, and use backspin to control the ball. We want to use the quarterback or the rock for the accuracy and also the ball guide when it comes to positioning ourselves for the approach, as there's still a lot of distance to cover. Power 5 ball is a must on this hole to prevent you from needing a load of overpower and potentially risking the water or the sand on the approach. Mine a great ball here, but it doesn't matter. I'm still getting the ball where I want to be, and the adjustment in this case was max plus 15. In tailwind, you might want to go max plus 20 just to compensate for the extra wind push. Second shot is going to be with the Cataclysm or the Big Dog. You can actually use the Horizon here as well if you have lower level clubs. Now we're using max plus 40 here because it is massively downhill, and there's also crosswind as well, which is going to affect the path of the ball slightly more. Setting up with top spin and left spin. I don't want to set up too close to the bunker here. The primary objective, of course, is just to get on the green to secure the eagle. Very tough to get an albatross unless you're going to go super aggressive on the drive on the left-hand side from the tee. There is a chance with a sniper, but you're still going to need a power 5 ball. Max plus 40 is the adjustment. We hit perfect on this one. If the adjustment takes you down into the water, I would suggest pushing up half a ring to 1 ring to compensate for the loss of distance. We get a zoom in here, just skim the left edge. Very lucky to be that close. But we got the putt for the eagle, which is the priority on this tough par 5. And regardless of the wind direction, I want to play to that small pad of fairway up ahead on the screen right now. And this is going to be achieved by using top spin and deliberately aiming the second bounce in the rough. And the top spin, as you can see with the ball guide from the rock here, is going to get us out onto the middle of that pad. So we're playing with top spin, setting up as follows, and then adjustment is max plus 20. If you don't have the rock level 9, you can then, of course, go with the extra mile or Thor's Hammer or Apocalypse and just look at the second bounce to mimic that rather than the full ball guide that I have, or rather the longer ball guide with the rock level 9. Max plus 20, hit perfect on this one, and it bounces over, rolls into the rough and rolls out nicely. This drive is very consistent due to the fairway design, and you're always going to be around 340 yards. Second shot, unless you've got a high-level B52, you're going to be wanting to go with the Goliath for the distance. Otherwise, you will be in between clubs. So we're going to find our position with the bullseye in the middle of the rough. Then we're going to go with left spin, 3 bars of left spin, and a little bit of backspin to get the ball guide to the pin. Obviously, if you have headwind angle here, you might want to alter your drive distance slightly so that you can play either from the minimum distance line with the sniper, in which case go with less top spin on the drive, or you go, of course, with a different power ball or maybe a different long iron as well. But we don't want to be in between clubs. So headwind, you can either push the drive and then have room to adjust with the Goliath, or you go with a shorter drive and then go with sniper from the min line or rings from min. True club distance, 0 elevation in this case, so I was looking at the plus yardage displayed and deducting 2% slider per yard away from max distance of the Goliath with a power 3 ball. But it all depends what club and ball you're using, but a very, very nice chance there for an eagle with that rough bump. There is a safer rough bump on the left of the bunkers with the sniper, but for the best chance of a hole-in-one, you've got to go aggressive in between the bunkers. Plenty of backspin, 1 bar side spin to the right. I'm using a wind 5 ball here. They help massively if you're playing this shot, because you don't want to be adjusting too many rings, because you're going to go down into the bunker a lot, or you're going to go up the hill or onto the green. Both of them are going to cause complications with setting up. So I would advise you to take a token and try and dial this one in if you want to go with this approach. Mid plus 10, using the rocket for the backspin, and with spin added, I'm setting up with the ball guide offset left of the cup intentionally. We hit perfect. This will catch the rough very nicely there. We've got room for a minor great left or great right, but not always on this shot. It can be a little bit tricky, but it falls beautifully for a hole-in-one. So if you want to go aggressive, that is the best chance. If not, it's going to be with the sniper on the left of the bunkers, play with top spin and use the slope on the green to get you down towards the pin. Please do join us over on Facebook. We have an ever-growing community of players there, over 16,000 members. Head over to Facebook, search for BK Golf Clash and submit your member request there. Free to join. There are free guides posted, lots of shot sharing and discussion points. You can chat and interact with me as well, and loads more over on Facebook. So head over there and search for BK Golf Clash. We've got a nice wind angle here. We're going to go aggressive and set up a rough bump for the second shot. 6 top spin, 2 bars side spin to the right. I add spin first. Stretch out to absolute max and look at the ball guide. You want it just over the edge of the rough, up ahead on the left of that narrow bottleneck area of fairway. I push adjust my rings here because as pretty as the flowers are, they are in the way and they obscure the view when you're pulling your rings. So push this one, max plus 20, and then we are going to take our shot. I'm not going to push anything up here at all because I want to slow a needle when I'm going full over power. Power 4 or power 5 ball is advisable in crosswind or headwind because you can then still go max over power without having a really shaky needle. Better chance of hitting perfect. Ball travels very nicely down the fairway. We want distance here. Drive distance of over 410 yards is excellent. Second shot, if you don't want to play the rough bump and the associated technical difficulties, then please just bounce over with backspin and left spin. You can still catch the funnel bouncing on the fairway that rolls down to the pin. If you want to go with the rough bump though, it takes a second bounce out of the equation and increases your drop percentage. So a little bit of backspin, and the left spin will vary depending where you are on the drive. And we want to make sure we're in that sticky spot where the ball guide doesn't really move around much, but it's going to go through the hole. And the reason for that is I'm going to adjust down into the bunker, and it's going to cause me to lose distance and pace on the ball. I played a fringe check here. This was from a previous tournament. +7 fringe check. This is played at 60% slider, minus 10% elevation. Because I adjust into the bunker, I push up 1 ring after I've adjusted. Otherwise, you're going to fall dramatically short and may not make it out of the rough. Perfect ball away here in different wind directions. This doesn't really need too much elevation at all, between 0 and -10 elevation, but we catch the rough nicely and it drops for a lovely albatross. Max topspin with the extra mile level 9. If you've got APOC 7 and above, obviously play with that instead because it's more accurate. 2 bars right spin, stretch out to the power 3 max extension, have the ball guide pointing right down the middle of the fairway. Then we're going to go max +10, and for a 9.8 mile per hour wind, I'm going to push this one up 1.5 rings with the extra mile 9. Different ring sizes for APOC though, so make sure you do a conversion if you're using that club. I would try and keep the wind below 10 miles per hour here. A bit of curl is shown, and then it's full over power, slow needle. You can see there any more wind on that and I might be going into the water, so be careful on the push up. Take a token or two if you want to get a feel for different wind strengths, but 9.8 is probably the limit of where I'd want it to be really with a Titan. Second shot with a thorn, going to do a WRPC, that well-known golf clash abbreviation. It stands for white ring pin check. So move your white ring to the pin as I did in the video. Look at the plus yards displayed. Then we're adding spin, a little bit of backspin, 2 bars side spin to the right, because I don't want to be aiming any closer to the bunker than I need to. Ball guide to the hole, and then for a +1 white ring pin check, I'm going 54% slider, 15% elevation. Information is on the notepad there on the screen as well. Pulling over the bullseye for accuracy, and also because that's how the adjustment is worked, so make sure you do the same. Otherwise, you might just burn the edge if you don't pull over the bullseye. Perfect ball away, bounces very, very nicely there, and we're dropping it for the eagle. So even though it's extra mile 9, slower needle, good chance of hitting perfect, but if you've got a more accurate driver with the top spin, then obviously you should use that instead. Very difficult hole anyway to get consistency on, but nice adjustment here. 7.5 backspin, 1.5 left spin, playing at max distance with a power 3 ball using the rocket level 10. Half of the red ring falling into the bunker on the right. Add spin and the ball guide will look like that. Recommended to keep the wind between 6.5 and 8 miles per hour. So the adjustment here going to be max +15, power 0 settings, favour 11.59 on the pull. This is a very, very touchy shot though on a difficult par 3, so if you do get a drop here, consider it a real bonus. Perfect ball here, bounces nicely in front of the bunker, just going to miss on the right hand side for a decent look at this very tricky par 3. If you are enjoying the free content here on the channel and want to help out and keep everything free, then please consider making a small donation. All donations are gratefully received and help me out here on the channel, as all of the content here is produced for free in my own spare time. You can do that in one of 3 ways. You can hit the thanks button here on YouTube, you can make a PayPal donation via the link in the description down below, or you can also join us over on Patreon. Details at the end of the video. And we're going to play with the rock here in headwind. I would set up with the rock and then switch to the extra mile or the apocalypse, and we want to go for a double bounce in headwind, clearing the rough or just clipping the rough and rolling out. In tailwind, of course, we can play with the rock without worrying about a club switch, but I'm adding top spin, second bounce on the fairway, third bounce there, you can see just before the end of the rough, and the ball guide is showing it is going to roll out onto the fairway. And in similar fashion to hole 4, that's what I want to do. I want to use the rough to control the rollout on the ball. Sure, you can send it here, but the fairway strips are narrow and you may well end up in the rough. So this is a consistent way to attack the pin for the albatross, even in a good wind angle. Max plus 30 on this one, and that would be an adjustment I go with regardless of wind angle, because this one is massively downhill. And you can see there, the rough is just dampening the progression of the ball, and we get a nice roll out here, 351 yards. Second shot in a nasty wind angle, you're just going to play safely to green with backspin and the cataclysm bouncing on the fairway. But with a good wind angle, we want to go aggressive with the rough bump. But be warned, there's quite a lot of steps to do. Add spin first, little bit of top spin, little bit of side spin to the right. It will vary depending where you are on your drive. And we want to set up with the sniper for the ball guide, and also club accuracy, having the ball guide going here just to the right of pin. That's because the wind will push us slightly to the left according to the wind angle I've got here. Looking at the plus yardage, +4 is going to be 80% slider, 2.5% per yard away from max, and max is +12 with the sniper 10 and a power 3. So 80% slider, 10% elevation. Crucial step here though, allow yourself time. We have to pull back a couple of rings. That's because we are just up the hill, and that will gain distance on our aim point. If you do not pull back, you will miss the rough completely and it won't end well. So make sure you allow enough time. So the pull back there means we're just catching the rough in the right place, and we drop it for an albatross. Thanks very much for watching this video here on the channel. If it has helped you in any way, please consider sharing it amongst your friends and clanmates in the game. Join us also on Facebook. Head over there, search for BK Golf Clash and join our free group. Loads of members there sharing shots. Free guides are posted, as well as loads of other great Golf Clash resources. So check us out there. You can join in the discussion and also leave feedback on the game in general. Finally, if you wish to help support the channel and keep the content free for everybody, please consider becoming a Patreon member. The link is in the video description down below. Good luck, see you soon, bye for now.